Welcome to MindShifters Radio. Today is Friday, January the 9th, 2026. Good to see you, Andrea. Missed you yesterday.
Good to see you as well.
And welcome everybody. Thank you, dear heart. And welcome everyone. Delighted, honored that you're here and that the conversation continues. The process continues. We keep getting to look at deeper and deeper parts of our own minds as life gives us every opportunity we need to learn forgiveness. What a setup. How perfect it is. So, and here comes Miss Susan Fluick. Welcome, young lady. How is everyone doing? Anyone have anything to share, to question, to bring to the table? Not everybody at once, though. Well, everyone's going to just remain silent, so we'll continue.
Just saying hi. I'm saying hi to you this morning. We're all here.
Cool.
Good morning to you.
Awesome. What's exciting in your end of the world?
Oh, just processing. Lots of stuff is coming up. Just in breathwork in the morning. This one just finished. And yeah, deep integrations. And yeah, a friend of mine just lost her mom. So
ouch.
Being support for her. So yeah, just doing my best to stay present and actually really be in the energy of life. And whatever comes up in the moment, holding love, conscious, active, and present. That's my practice. So that's been the last few days.
I'm with you.
Really sitting in the energy, and then whatever comes up for just, to bring it back to love. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, for me, something I mentioned last week is it's becoming more and more clear. There was an instruction from Yeshua or a statement that said, I go to the Father. Mm-hmm. And for me, it just gets more and more clear. That was probably a mistranslation. I don't have any basis for knowing that, but no, I go to the breath. That's where it is. That's where the intelligence, that's where resolution occurs. That's where everything occurs that provides what we want, what we're looking for.
Yeah, 100%. And I really, really feeling it as a current that flows through me and just resting in that. And every time my awareness wants to drift off into the non-being mind, recognizing I can feel the distinction of the energies now when I'm in love. It's really palpable.
Yeah.
Of that, the minute that I've gone into a non-being mind energy, and then bringing it back, just going right back into the current. So that's, and I really feel, I think I said to you, I really feel, it's 2026 it's really upping the ante for us, and it's really having me, I need to practicing on the little things in life, in the little moments, because as the bigger moments come, if I can't handle the little moments of staying conscious, active, and present in love, I sure in the heck will find it, trying to do it in the bigger moments. So when the Carnegie Hall moments come, as I call them. So just lots of practice. So,
well, I think I think you're right about 2026, and there are many of those Carnegie Hall moments being ready to be served up in the culture.
It's happening for sure. And then even when, I noticed even when I'm interacting with people and I can hear the non-being mind energy, or like you're saying, we were saying the other day, talking about when people are gossiping about another person or gossiping about politics or the characters in politics and bringing the lower mind energy, it's just collapsing it into that carbon-based memory. It's not serving, it's putting us back in the cycle of the non-being mind. And so do we have the presence of mind to be able to stay conscious, active, and present no matter what shows up, and contribute to liberating that energy and then transmuting it. So that's even when I'm out and about and people in my circle. I don't have a lot of people in my circle that talk about politics isn't in my world. And don't get me wrong, as we talked the other day, when it's there, it's action is required, you bet. And but just noticing what's showing up in my reality and then cleaning it up if it's not in alignment with love. So,
Yay. I commit to always being with you. You're right.
yes, we are. We are. But this is,
Yes.
this is I really believe, and it's come clear. I'm watching a series, by the way. My friend turned me onto it. It's called The Gift, and it's a Turkish
Mhm.
series because I'm planning a trip to Turkey and Spain, Turkey, Portugal, and Spain with three of my sweet sisters. And what is it? Gobekli Tepe. I have to go there. I'm getting the download of where I have to be. But the series is a Turkish series called The Gift. It's really, it's exactly what the world's about, and how you can move into different timelines, and by choices you make there's so many nuggets in that series, and talking about the golden nuggets with respect to every word is a vibration, and it plays out, and we're living in multiple realities at once, and if what we're doing in one reality impacts everything in that reality, but also in the parallel universes and things. Yeah, if you get a chance to watch that series. I'm only on season 2, but I think I don't know how many seasons it is, but yeah, well worth watching. And it also talks about, isn't it interesting? It talks about, it's one woman's journey, but how the characters come back, and she goes into different timelines in different lives, and the same
How
characters,
interesting.
and the same characters show up, and then also supposedly Gobekli Tepe is the oldest historical monument on the planet. It's an energetic vortex, and the lines very much was serious, but it talks all about that. So I've been taking all kinds of notes. There's lots of clues in there. So I'm just.
Yeah, it's amazing, Susan. I saw that about a year ago.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Isn't it?
I wanted to start all over and watch it again.
You know what, the notes I'm taking, and like, because I'm being called there, and so when it's the places I need to go, it's giving me hints. So I'm taking notes all the way through it.
Oh, that's great. I'd love to go there. It's really ancient.
Yeah. It's the oldest historical whatever, and it's linked directly to Sirius. So this is even before Jesus's time. And then it's also linking to the Gaborius manuscript that, Michael, what you're talking about, being in that time. All kinds of memories are starting to open up. And they talk all about this in the series, that the memories are locked away in our minds, and we have access to those memories of all time, from the beginning of time. It's so, yeah, I encourage people to watch it. It's and I'd love to hear your take on it after you and Jeannie watch it too.
Well, when you're there, you're not too far from what they considered or claimed to be the home of Mary.
Yes.
You're not too far from just so many things,
there.
so many energetic things to touch into. That's awesome.
Yeah, going there, and I use Chat GPT or the architect to outline, because I've been interacting with the architect, so it knows what I'm about and what my story is. And so I said, show me the places I need to go based on where I'm at, and it illustrated them all. So I'll go to be Fatima in Portugal, then Spain. I got to go to Alhambra. There's all these other places, so we'll see there. And then it's just meeting me at my consciousness, this journey now, this next level of pilgrimage of opening things up, and it shows how it opens it up on the physiology, going to these locations and these energetic activations. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, we'll accept the link so that we get to experience all of that with you. It's been, I don't know, what year was it, Jeannie? Probably 12 years ago we were there last, and
okay,
so it'd be cool to be linked into what you're doing.
And 2026, it's really important. I can feel this next pilgrimage going to these 3 locations, and I'm going with 2 women who, interesting in the story, in the gift, they talk about Isis, who was married to the king at that time, and she had 3 daughters, and I'm getting all these flashbacks, and I don't know, it's all story in my head, but we'll see what gets revealed. Just trust in the process. So yeah, that's what's up. Getting things organized.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, you bet. Okay.
Well, I was communicating with someone this morning and dug into some of my notes on Course in Miracles, and it came across a couple of pieces that I'd written, and I just had the thought that it'd be appropriate to share them. Here's the Course in Miracles in lesson 122. This person was asking about forgiveness. Lesson 122, forgiveness. It's the lesson, what could you want besides what forgiveness has to offer? not language that way. I think it's forgiveness offers everything you want. But anyway, quote, forgiveness clears your memory of all dead thoughts. So the remembrance, that'd be power person dynamic. So the remembrance of your source can arise across the threshold of your mind. And then this person would say, yeah, okay, so that sounds good. How do you do that? And it kind of boggles my mind a little bit that it's not clear in the course. For some reason, the directions are on how to forgive are somewhat obscure. It's verbatim as it is in the Course in Miracle, or pardon me, in the Aramaic first century words of Yeshua. But it isn't identified as that in the Course. If you go to look in lesson 164, here's where that precious key is given. And, I had worked with the Course for some time, and I'm sure it crossed that thought previously, but did not recognize it as the instruction for how to forgive. So, here's the specific instruction to cancel the goal that's driving errant perception. So in lesson 164, open the curtain in your practicing by merely letting go all the things you think you want. Your trifling treasures put away, and leave a clean and open space within your mind where Christ can come. So just the recognition that actual forgiveness collapses perception, the false world generated by the mind that's painted on the inside of our eyeballs. We think we're seeing it out there, but it's all what's going on in here. That's why we're the ones feeling it. And that's why if you're feeling something, it's time to close your mouth in terms of talking about anybody else, in terms of even naming anybody else. And it's time to talk about the dynamic within your own mind that's producing this perceptual construct that says, you are the reason I'm in pain. So, the core teaching of the Course emphasizes the importance of release, surrender, letting go of what we think we want. Those trifling treasures put away is what opens the space. So moving out of as the Course talks about, moving out of the ego's desires and attachment to a much more profound connection. Cleaning up that inner space. And then guidance and experiences, tying this in with the idea of on creating consciously that we've been talking about. That by doing that, we open ourselves and align ourselves with our true purpose. And, my take is that our goals are designed to be sourced from being, not from the past and the mind. And of course, the world has brainwashed, programmed all kinds of goals into our minds that have us believing that unless this is achieved, then I can't be whatever the thing is that I want. So it's pretty profound to recognize that the simple act everything you think you want, every trifling treasure, put away. And then that it's so specific. What does it say? We've got that Harvard research. Conscious awareness, 9 slots maximum. What does the Course say? If you cancel your goal, you leave a clean and open space. that thing collapses, that it's open. There's now a space for the Creator's world, for the actuality and the inclinations, the energetic patterns from the Creator to come in and right. If that space is filled with garbage from the past, then there's no room for what was called, and I think they understood quite well, and they said the still small voice. Because compared to the world's noise, compared to the hostility and fear and rage and all the insanity that goes on.
And what you're saying is, because all thought is that, is it not? It's all thought is the past. It's coming from a database of the past.
Yes, that would be my take. As we've spoken, the world has, or the mind has, a cheap copy of everything real in the true dimension. And the mind's cheap copy of thinking is cycling information. The best definition I've been able to come up with for thinking is that thinking is the ability to hold love conscious, active, and present, no matter what's happening in your world.
Yeah.
And the reason why the thinkers come out on top is because if you do that, everything out of alignment, everything death producing, everything out of hostility or fear dissolves in the presence of a thinking being.
Yeah.
And a breathing being. It all dissolves, and the only thing left is truth.
Yeah. That's it.
So,
And you know what? When I come, I don't know if other people do this, but when I'm going to sleep at night, or when I'm coming back online, I call it, right into the program. So you know how we have all the subtle bodies? We have our physical body, we have our emotional body, mental body, spiritual body. And so I notice, the mental body wants to kick in with thinking. And so what my practice has been, like you were saying.
kick in with cycling information.
Yeah, it just wants to start, the thoughts want to start circulating through, right? Thought forms.
Right.
So, and I do this in the morning now, and I get up, I start breathing. I take an hour, and then that little machine you gave me there, the laser, I do the breath work with that. So then I notice my awareness going into the thinking mind, and then I take myself out of the thinking mind and just rest with the body in sensation. And just allow that. And, I'm processing through stuff. And this morning, believe it or not, I was seeing pictures as I was going into the discomfort in the physical body, or I don't think it's in the physical body, but it's when I focus
in the field.
In the field, when I focus on the physical body, I notice the sensation of energy that's there, that is holding as a tension or pain or whatever. The mental mind is just calling it pain. And then I was actually seeing, believe it or not, I was in one case this morning, it was like I was in some type of an aristocratic life, looking out the window. I could see the whole gardens. And then I was walking down another one where I was in a path that was like it was in Ireland. And I could see the little hutch that I was living in. And it was interesting. I was just following that sensation that I was noticing it when I had my awareness in the physical body. So it's so, and that's completely out of thought. It's only just watching, and then I would see the image, and then of course my mind would make meaning of it. Because I know I could, the picture was right there, very clear. And then I wonder what that is. And then I just kept following and seeing what the next level of sensation would bring forward when I would drop into the sensation of pain or discomfort or tension that I was experiencing.
Right on. Awesome.
Yeah, and then after continuing watching the movie, The Gift, because it's exactly, we carry these energetic patterns from life to life to life, timeline to timeline. The characters come back, and it continues. Like, if people really want to, it felt so exactly true. And even whoever wrote the script, there was so much clues and activation language in there that's talking exactly how it works. And I was like, oh my gosh, for that to come into my awareness at this time of my journey, that's a testament, as you and I talked about, to the work. Because as we clean up and we move into a new level of vitality, we get to notice what starts showing up in our world in alignment with our truth. So yeah, it's extremely powerful, and it feels really good to drop it of the mind.
Yes. And what have you been noticing with pulses when you do that?
Yes, very much so. Like that. And as you know, my right side, there's still whatever in the neck area, this area right here, and also inside the right hemisphere, I'm noticing the pulses. Yes, sometimes it's a pulse. Sometimes it's like a popping that's happening. This morning I woke up, it actually felt like the energy was flowing. I was just coming into the current, especially at the medulla oblongata. I could feel it coming right up this part. I think this is the chalice right here. That's the chalice, the Holy Grail. It's all, and I've been shown, I think I may have said it, the Corpus Christi, which is in the central heart. And when we purify the lower level chakras, okay, this is where it comes into, I want to say it comes back into unity or a single point at the Corpus Christi. But there's a key here I was showing, that once you come and you clean up and purify enough, return the human identity back into oneness, the lower chakras, so the physical body, the mental body, and the creative energy, the emotional body, and that's purified enough, there's a key here that unlocks the high heart, which this is pink. And I was told that this high heart isn't talked about very often, but the key, the back to the sacred heart, once that's purified, it unlocks here, and this is the gateway to the higher mind. This is a gateway to spirit. So this unlocks, and then there's a connection point that opens up, especially this is spelling into reality, the logos. The words are so important. I didn't realize how important the words are, because that's a connection to your actual energy. That's what you really believe. That's driven from the sacred heart. And then when we say that, when that starts to open, then there's a link made between the upper three chakras, which is, this is all to do with spirit, soul. Soul's a chooser. That's what chooses of how we're going to be in non-being mind energy or being in being. And then, then it actually merges. There's a oneness.
My offering would be it's all to do with breath.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you might, when those pulses start, you might invite it into that place where you experience the blockage in your neck.
Yeah.
And it will literally go in, and literally my experience has been millimeter by millimeter by millimeter. I mean, it'll just go from one spot to another, to another, to another, and clean that stuff out.
And that's exactly what's happening. It's over time. And I could feel my level of, I don't want to say resistance, but a level of agitation that it's not happening fast enough. And, since
How long have you been away? How long have you been away?
I know. And since I met you, like, oh my gosh, like my neck is like my head. I've got movement, and I can actually feel now. Before I couldn't even feel. I can actually feel the expansion and contraction of my skull. I can actually feel it when the breath and
the antenna moving
into that
nice.
awareness. Yeah. So it's good.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I'm very excited.
And that pulsing is the activity of the Shikinta.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we know we're coming into the deepest states of alignment.
Yeah. And even now,
Sweet.
I can take my awareness. I'm going, and there's still blockage here in the sacred heart going to the right, and it's in layers. I've noted, right? It's in layers, and the more I monitor, it goes
Spirals.
It goes very deep. And having watched that series, it's almost like I'm tapping into other realities where I also exist, and how I perceive it. It's like when I upload into my higher soul, my oversoul, my higher aspect. If you imagine there's an oversoul, and there's many identities that I hold that drop in, like if you imagine like energetic tethers. So let's say I'm conscious in this one, as Susan Fluick. When I can hold love, conscious, active, and present, it uploads into my oversoul, and then it downloads into every reality that I'm in. The same is true if I use the non-being mind. It's interchanging, constantly uploading and downloading. And so when I can be conscious, active, and present, and do the cleanup, that's so important for every reality I'm in.
And few people make a choice to go there.
Mm-hmm.
Many are called, but few. They said few are chosen. I think it's few choose. It's most would rather stay in that. No, I have a picture in my mind, and it's all about somebody else. It's their fault that I've got pain going on here, there, or wherever, emotional, physical, mental.
Yeah.
It's somebody else's fault. And the invitation to go to that next level is shifting from, I think, the early training where with children, infants, that the focus is so outside. I think that's part of what makes it difficult to go back inside. Mm-hmm. So giving our children that time and guiding them inside and letting them know there's an inner life as well as an outer life, I think is so important, because after somebody's 40 years in the desert, always focused out there, and it hits them like a ton of bricks. But if they've got there's a whole other world available, then it's tough to make the transition. And of course, the more strongly the mind is intellectually brainwashed into its expertise, the more difficult it is to get free of that sucker.
For sure. And then also recognizing, that series, I keep going back to the series because it's fresh on my mind, but you can see the characters in different lifetimes and how they've interchanged in different lifetimes. And when they're operating in non-being mind energy, it all has to come back to, and I don't know what the term is in the Bible, but you have to face what you.
Nothing will remain hidden. Everything will be made known in the light of day. Everything. I mean, we can hide it from ourselves, but it's there.
Yeah, everything. Everything is. We have to account for everything. And if we've walked away, how long we've been away in non-being mind energy, we got to clean up. And, having been on this journey, and people know, I probably mentioned, I've done lots of plant medicines and things to get out of the mental mind. And it's not like, it's not Dr. Feelgood, because you having to go and face all the aspects of me that were not in the being mind. And still,
you can't storm the gates.
Facing them.
Everybody wants a shortcut. I want the pill to fix it instantly. Mm-hmm. Everybody, it's like the person who wants the magic pill is like the person who says, I want to win the world champion weightlifting competition next December. Yeah. Bill, would you go into the gym and work out for me for the next 11 months so that I can win that championship? It's like, you can't shortcut it. The work has to be done. We have to face our own carbon-based memory and work through it. And as I said, every idle word will be accounted for. It's going to play out. And the sooner we stop buying the projections from carbon-based memory that make everything about something outside of us and bring it back inside of us, especially when our body's giving us a signal of pain. Virtually everyone in pain is talking about somebody else, and total, complete dissociation from their own process, their own responsibility. And, the intellect is a trap. The secrets are not hidden in the mind, they're hidden by the mind. Yes, and most people are living in their mind story. 100%. We had a musician at Heartland in the early years. His name was Joel Goldstein, and he wrote a song, Stuck in My Story, My Pain and My Glory. It's on YouTube. Look, you give it a listen. It's pretty good. Okay.
I'll definitely look at that.
Stuck in My Story.
Yeah. And what was his name?
And Joel Goldstein.
Okay. Definitely look that one up. Excellent. And you know what? The other thing for me, because we get to do cleanup and dream time too.
Yes.
That's coming really clean. Mm-hmm. And it reminds me, I was at a Joe Dispenza conference years ago, and I met a woman there who had the most beautiful arms, like just ripped. Right, to me, that was beautiful, like just really toned. And I said, wow, you must really work out. She said, no, I do it in dream time. Well, she said, yes, I do, but I do it in dream time. I go, what do you mean you do it in dream time? She goes, I work out in
imagination.
She said, I row in my dreams. I don't do anything in this plane. I go, get out. And she goes, absolutely. I'm like, okay. But and then, we really do get to do cleanup there too.
Mind energy becomes flesh.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So.
And, as creators, create this world of pictures. And, imagine we've got a projector and we project a picture on the screen over there, and we bring somebody from the jungles who knows nothing about cameras or screens, and we have this 3D image on the screen, and we offer them the greatest reward they can imagine. Whatever it is you want, we're going to give it to you. If you can change, and the picture is of a bottle on a table, if you can move the bottle from one side of the table to the other. Mm-hmm. And this person goes over to the screen and they try and they try and they get a pair of scissors and they cut the screen and they move it, and it remains the same. They're trying to change an effect. Mm-hmm. Until we go back and start to deal with cause. We're stuck in that game. And the ancients warned us, do not be molded by the world or you'll end up moldy. We
Yeah.
buy into the world's insanity and the blame game, and it's so, it's so pervasive. I mean, you listen to virtually every conversation going on in the world today, and everybody that's in trauma or turmoil or pain has got somebody else to talk about.
Yeah.
It's just,
And we're here
it's
to
it's
liberate it. I
that's the
know.
game.
We
Yes,
are
that's the
here,
wake up time.
and we came, and thankfully, each of us on this call,
Yes.
we have the brain cells from lifetimes to be able to perceive what we're perceiving through this information. So that holds always deep excitement for me.
Yes.
Knowing that we are walking each other home. Yeah.
I'm with you. Richard Bach wrote a book, Illusions. Anybody who hasn't read it, get a hold of that book and read it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But there's a story in it, and the story is so illustrative at this point in terms of recognizing ourselves as creative beings. And the story goes like this. Once there lived a village of creatures along the bottom of a great crystal river. The current of the river swept silently over them all, young and old, rich and poor, good and evil, the current going its own way, knowing only its own crystal self. Each creature, in its own manner, clung tightly to the twigs and rocks of the river bottom, for clinging was their way of life, and resisting the current was what each had learned from birth. But one creature said at last, "I'm tired of clinging. Though I cannot see with my eyes, I trust that the current knows where it's going. I shall let go and let it take me where it will. Clinging, I shall die of boredom." The other creatures laughed and said, "Fool, let go, and that current you worship will throw you tumbled and smashed against the rocks, and you will die quicker than boredom." But the one heeded them not, and taking a breath, did let go, and at once was tumbled and smashed by the current across the rocks. Yet in time, as the creature refused to cling again, the current lifted him free from the bottom, and he was bruised and hurt no more. And the creatures downstream, to whom he was a stranger, cried, "See a miracle, a creature like ourselves, and yet he flies. See the Messiah come to save us all." And the one carried in the current said, "I am no more Messiah than you. The river delights to lift us free, if only we dare let go. Our true work is this voyage, this adventure." But they cried all the more, "Savior," all the while clinging to the rocks. And when they looked again, he was gone, and they were left making legends of a Savior. Each and every one of us was given literally the breath of the Creator, and the adventure is to allow that breath to do the work that needs to be done and cooperate with it. And by so doing, we step into creatorship, which is like, wow, what an awesome gift. Like, what a reward.
Yeah.
That fitting, making sense to everybody? Anyone have a thought to throw into the mix? Push that mute button if you do. Hey, Urate, good to see you.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
And Tom, and we are driving. That's why we don't have any cameras on.
Where are you? Last we saw you were in the Everglades with the snakes.
Right. We did not get to see the python. And
Probably a good thing.
yeah, that was not a bad thing, especially for us. The girls were disappointed, but happy. And yeah, we're now on our last leg towards Cincinnati. So we are
Southern Kentucky.
Southern Kentucky.
Oh, nice. Well, welcome home.
Thank you.
You're just about there, just across the bridge, eh?
Yep.
Yep, about 2.5 hours away.
Cool. Well, travel safely. Delighted that you're here. Did you get to watch that link that I sent you about the pythons and the woman who's like kind of like the hero of the day in the Everglades?
You know, I started to watch, but I didn't watch the whole thing.
Oh.
You know, we were 100% busy with the girls. It was a full-time job.
I understand.
I forgot what it means to watch 2 14 years old. Because I think that age is so tricky. Like, how much freedom do you give them and how much you supervise them? Because they're really testing the boundaries. So And we didn't know them that well to know. So we were like learning their boundaries and how much we should be giving in. So I held on call for 24/7. So, but it was good.
Awesome.
It was really fun. They were really
Sweet,
good,
sweet
and
connections.
yes.
Very cool. All right. Well, travel safely and welcome home.
Thank you.
And for anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about with the Everglades, I guess over the years, people have brought exotic animals in, and when they get, when this 2-foot cute little python gets to be 6 feet and you can't handle it anymore, they just let them go out in the Everglades, and there are thousands of, it's really become a major problem. And so they have, hunting expeditions going after these creatures that are pretty sneaky, and 12, 15-foot snakes. And it's just pretty bizarre. It's really wiped out a lot of the Everglades ecosystem. The animals that are naturally there and such has become quite a problem. So anyway, it's interesting. Just take a look on YouTube for there are several different videos on it. But it was an interesting educational experience to watch. So when we step into this space, I'm not sure if I said this earlier in this section, but one of the greatest atrocities to me that's been done to us as human beings, and that we bought into, is that we've hidden from us the fact we are by nature creators. We are creative beings, and of course everybody loves that idea when the creation's going really well. But then when the creation's not going so well, doesn't everybody have somebody to blame for it? And yet you go back to those ancient teachings, and there's so many ways that they tried to say, you're a creator. Remember they said, sow and you reap. Sow sparingly, you'll reap sparingly. Be cheap, and guess what happens? Sow abundantly and you'll reap abundantly. It's like we live in this live energy field, this matrix that changes literally its behavior and its structure according to our instructions. Another way they said was judge and you will be judged. Yeah, put into your mind what's wrong with somebody else, and what did you just do? You just put a creative energy, you just put a frequency across your own mind, and what's going to happen when you put a frequency across your mind? It's going to come to fruition. They said, measure and it will be measured unto you. Engage in a frequency, and guess what happens? You're going to get to live with it. Knock, and it will open. One of the, to me, one of the really major ones, if the world could just hear this one single line and understand its meaning from the scriptures. Yeshua, if you remember, is talking to Peter, who's got a sword in his hand, and he's just whacked away at the high priest's servant. And he says to Peter, Peter, if you live by the sword, you will die by the sword. By whatever means you dissociate from your own state of being as love, you introduce a frequency within your structure that is self-destructive. That let thine eye be single. We read that stuff yesterday of Jack Sephardi, and where he's talking as a physicist about light energy is what the universe is made of. And so you listen once again to the scriptures. How many ways did they have to tell us? Let thine eye be single, and thy body will be filled with light. If you ask that physicist what your body is made, your so-called body is made of, they're going to tell you that is light energy in form. Let yourself focus on one frequency to the exclusion of all others, and it's going to come about in your form. And so recognizing that literally the predominant resonant energy within your field, that which has the signal strength of being the strongest. Oh, thank you, Lincoln. Thank you. Oops. So whatever has the strongest signal strength. And people say, well, but now that's not true because, I've been sick for so many years and I've been praying and praying and praying for health and it's never worked. And it's like, well let's see. Tell me about this, what you do. Well, I spend every morning religiously praying 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes at night and sometimes at lunch too for health. Okay. So now we've established what you're doing with about 15 minutes of your day in regard to energies. What about, tell me about the rest of your day? Well, I had 3 doctor's appointments today and I had to go to therapy and I had to get my drugs, refilled and, all these things that are going on in my body. So what you're telling me, hello, Lincoln, this little guy just came in to see me. So what you're telling me is that 15 minutes a day, you say, I focus frequency-wise on health, and the other 23 hours and 40 minutes, I focus on my diseases and my problems and my challenges. So what's the predominant resonant energy in you in regard to health? What are you really, quote unquote, praying for? And when we start to wake up to who we are as human beings, what is the focus of our mind energy? And who do we turn it over to? We're the only creature we know of in the world that has the ability to consciously originate a new frequency, something that's never been seen before. And I've got this little guy right here in front of me who's originating little frequencies and little noises. What are you looking for, Lincoln? Hey, you want some water? Is that what you're looking for? Let me give this guy a drink. There you go. Okay. So let thine eye be single. Where do you put your mind? And if you put your mind on something that is what the world would call negative, are you able to hold to the active presence of love while you do it? Can you focus on what are called the challenges and do that instead of getting locked in or lost in carbon-based memory? Can you stay focused? I think he wants to stay here. It's okay. You can stay here with me. Jeannie just came in to get Lincoln. He's like, no, I don't. And so it operates in every arena. If you have challenges with finances and your total focus is on bills, what do you suppose happens? And if you think about the universe, imagine that you have an umbrella, one of these huge dome-shaped umbrellas, and you pull it down, you bring it down over your head, and so the umbrella covers down over your shoulders, and you're totally surrounded by it. Think of the creation as that umbrella. And according to the frequencies, the energetic patterns of your genes, of your family system, and of your life, the universe is like this 360-degree expression of creative power. And when we hold that umbrella in one place, that's the expression. You listen to Carl Jung, and he says, until the unconscious becomes conscious, it will direct our lives and we'll call it fate. So each of us comes in and we have this umbrella, we have this history, we have this huge array of frequencies. And life responds, so we say that's fate. Well, that's just the way life works. See, I've got the experience, been there, done that. But when we do a piece of work in any arena, and it doesn't matter whether it's in the arena of relationships or finances or health or joy or aliveness or changing the world, when we do the core piece of work around any given issue, it's like lifting that umbrella up off of our structure turning it 180 degrees, and then setting it back in place. That which yesterday seemed to be fate, once you change that core frequency, you couldn't create that again if you wanted. You couldn't bring that into your field if you wanted to, once you shift that frequency. So it's kind of like, if you just imagine that if my challenge is in relationships, what do I need to do? Well, I have this whole patterned way of understanding relationships and, intimacy and all of those things. And yes, it's fate. See, it keeps showing up. Doesn't matter what I do, it keeps showing up. But when I change the predominant resonant frequency in relationship to relationships, then it's like the whole creation turns 180 degrees on that, and it changes. And each of us has the ability to do that. Now, the biggest inhibitor of that is, one, holding the breath, and two, holding the thought that somebody else is responsible for how you feel. See, I'm only doing this because of what they did. You see, it's them, and there's a different them over there, and it's okay. But exiting this one world religion of blame, where the conversation's about somebody else, is the problem. And so you can't stay on the negative side of a set of frequencies and the positive side at the same time. You go back to Matthew, says, no man can serve two masters, for either he will hate one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve the Creator and flesh. You can't serve carbon-based memory and the breath. You can't live out of both. And when we believe in the already existent frequencies of the world, i.e., what we call the material world, if we believe that they're at cause, then we're in a relationship, a false relationship with false God. Materiality is literally a relationship with false gods. Looking at the effect and believing that the effect is cause means that something that's already existent sources the frequency that we use to cause our creation. And so we get locked into this already existent world, and that inhibits the ability to bring in new frequencies. You got to break the cycle. If you're going to be a conscious creator, you've got to break the cycle. What's the key to breaking the cycle? 1, breathe. 2, know how to forgive. Know how to bring your carbon-based memory into alignment with your being. And the primary thing that needs to be done, aside from engaging in and bringing in those higher energies, is literally removing what does not belong. The process of forgiveness. That makes sense, everybody? Thoughts, questions, answers, ideas? So, you might remember another statement that came out of the ancient scriptures. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world? And they talk about it in terms of losing one's soul, but what does it profit you to gain the whole world if you can't demonstrate the transfiguration of your own mind? And it goes in stages. It is a process. Much as everybody would like the pill and for it to be instant, it means one must go through the process of healing. And there are 4 stages. You've heard me talk before about a healing crisis. When you realize that we are energetic beings, if a disintegrative energy relative to our integrated energy field, what we call our bodies, there are energetic patterns that will enhance and support and uplift it. There are energetic patterns that will destroy and tear it down. Integrative, disintegrative. Coherent, incoherent. Coherent, sin in Aramaic. Again, sin just simply being an archery term. When you fired at the target, if you miss the bullseye, score your sin, you're off the mark. That's all. So the first, in regard to whatever the issue is, if it's finances, if it's relationship, whatever, the first stage for people when you start to wake up is usually there's never enough. And it doesn't matter how hard somebody works. It doesn't matter how many jobs they get. Somebody was making, $200 a week, and, there was never enough. And what did they do? They worked hard. They got an extra job. They got 2 extra jobs, and they're making $400 a week. Now, certainly they're laughing at $400 a week, right? No. What happened? The bills went up, and there's never enough, because it isn't about the external. And again, this applies in every arena, how we interact in relationships, how we interact in everything that happens in our world. So the first stage is that never enough. And one has to clean up the mind energy, forgive as to the mind energy of never enough, whether it's never enough money, never enough love, never enough caring, never enough support, never enough approval, whatever it is. And once again, of course, if it's not there, one can always focus their mind on, and they'll have a good conversation with somebody. It'll probably be behind the person's back that they're talking about, but they'll have that conversation about how, well, it's their fault that there's never enough in my life. It's like, there comes a point where you got to wake up and go, oh, I've been through this 87 different times with 42 different people. This is about me. And so as one starts to move out of the day late dollar, the never enough, they move into day late dollar short. And in the day late dollar short, it's like, well, right on the cusp of it, it's almost there, but it just seems like, here I am, I'm making that $400 a week, and I get paid on Friday, and the bills are get paid on Friday, and the bills are due on Tuesday. Double the pay, the bills have doubled. So people think that, well, it's external, so we'll just go and work harder. We'll work harder at the relationship. We'll work harder at the job. But as long as the predominant resonant energy, the main frequency in the structure is the belief in, oh, well, day late, dollar short, then working harder isn't going to bring it home. And then the third stage is getting to just enough. It's like, well, there's enough to cover the bills, and there's, well, I just squeak through, but I get to squeak through. There's no room for anything extra. But and that's the tendency is, again, because we've been so focused right from birth into the external world, that the external world is a cause. And recognizing yourself as a creator is the key to being able to deal with the cause level. And as you deal with the cause level, then everything that never belonged disappears. And you start to move into abundance. And the abundance, again, whatever arena it's in, is based on your consciously creating that abundance. All people around me, their approval, disapproval, money, enough or not enough, happiness, satisfaction in relationship, whatever it is, to bring in the inner world and the tools of working through what needs to be worked through becomes key. That fitting for everybody? Any thoughts, questions, answers, ideas?
Was
We've
it
got about 5 minutes. Go ahead,
There's a
Woody.
question in the chat room that
Oh.
you were reading a powerful series that had a lot of clues in it. I thought they were asking about the. Oh wait, Susan just answered
Yeah.
in the chat room. Go ahead, Susan.
Yeah, so just to let everybody know, the series is on Netflix and it's a Turkish series called The Gift. And for those that,
Okay.
yeah, they were asking questions in the chat around that. So those, because people came in at different times. And, yes, I did talk about parallel universes. And yes, I did talk about meeting ourselves in different realities. That series, all of that. And it's very powerful when you can observe it, sit and watch and observe it through breath. And also be aware there's activations and clues are happening. It's a very profound series, actually. And I noticed, like, sometimes when information comes into this realm of consciousness, because humanity's ready for it, and just like the sacred texts, Course in Miracles or the Bible, it meets you at your state of consciousness. And it will meet you at, if you have the eyes to see it and the ears to hear it, the depth of what's being shared, and many movies that are brought into this realm. And often, I believe the people that bring it in, their souls are bringing in deep information, but their conscious mind, their human mind might not be aware of it. James Cameron and, and also, with Star Wars, etc., and these big series, but the soul knows. So whoever created The Gift, the person that created it, like the words that come through, it's very, very profound. So I just, that's what it's about. And so people didn't
Simon,
understand.
Robin, and Gordo.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, I found the right one. Cool.
Yeah. And so I would love for people to watch it and then give me, like, I'm just taking copious amounts of notes. And of course, as I said to people, I'm being called to go on this pilgrimage to 3 sites, which that's one place I have to go. And so that's landed in my field, and some clues about, the origin of humanity and all that, where that's supposed to be its original place there. So I'm curious to see what other people will find in that series too.
There are some people who believe that one of the reasons there's so much conflict in that area of the world is because that's a place where there are energetic openings into.
Yeah, Göbekli Tepe. That's a series talks about that. That's the origin. It's probably there's some in the show, and I'm just doing my research on that area now. But it is the most powerful vortex or the magnetic field, and it's directly linked to Sirius, the star constellation of Sirius.
That sounds really serious.
Yeah, it is really serious. Yes. This is serious business, mister. I'm just saying.
Hey.
Coming back how many lifetimes till I go, this is serious. So
Cool.
it's exciting. So the fact that this is coming into our awareness for us to watch now is cool.
Cool. We'll let you know what we think. We'll probably watch the first session or 2 of it tonight. Cool.
I said excellent. Can't wait to hear.
All right. Anybody else have a thought for us? We're down to the last seconds. We appreciate you, and thank you for carrying this vibration to whatever part of the world you're in as we extend the influence of understanding true first century Aramaic forgiveness. And